of my most anticipated films of the year is finally here. I never thought I'd be able to see it in 2020 with everything going on in the world, but we are here. I've seen it, and I'm so excited to discuss it. So let's get to it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new movie review. Today I'm going to be discussing Tenet. Armed with one word, Tenet, and fighting for the survival of an entire world, a protagonist journeys through a twilight world of international espionage on a mission that will unfold in something beyond real time. This film is, of course, written and directed by Christopher Nolan and stars the likes of Elizabeth Debicki, Robert Pattinson, John David Washington, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and, of course, Kenneth Branagh. This film was my most anticipated film of the year. This and Dune. And Dune, you know, they were tied together, but Dune's trailer, by the way, amazing. Loved seeing it in theaters. I cannot wait for September 9th to get a full look at what this world's going to be. But again, Tenet, my expectations were so high. I never thought they would be able to be exceeded, and for me, they were. But it seems like many of you guys, and it seems like this fan base is actually very much split on this film. Some people are really loving this film, and some people are not at all and coming out very disappointed. For me, I loved it. It was everything I wanted this film to be and more. And I'm really curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this film. So make sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Were you guys loving it? Were you guys disappointed? Let's discuss it all down below in the comment section, as well as hit that like and subscribe button for all sorts of early movie reviews like this on a daily basis. I love talking movies, and I want to keep talking them with you guys. Yeah, cat's out of the bag. No spoilers, of course, for Tenet, because this is very much a hard film to talk about, even with spoilers. I'm definitely very much excited to see this film again, because there's so much that I feel like I missed. Tenet is a very complex and dynamic espionage globe-trotting mission that absolutely, from the second this film starts, goes till the very finale. And this film just never stopped. The pacing is consistent. It constantly feels like something is going on and constantly feels like something is happening and going to happen. Every single minute, every single frame, and every single second of this film felt important for the story being told. And there's things that will tie in from the beginning to the end. There's things that tie into the middle that tie back to the beginning. It's so clever in the way that this film is written that I absolutely loved playing around with this whole time idea that Nolan has been really intrigued with over the last couple of films, whether it's Dunkirk, Interstellar, a little bit of Inception, and even now this film. It feels like he's cracked what he's really wanted to dive into, and his fascination with what time is to us as humans and what time can be in real life. From the trailers, many people kind of get like, is this his own time travel type movie? It's so different than that, and if you're paying very close attention, you can understand this. And even though I say this film is complex, I like that Nolan doesn't hold your hand throughout this movie. He's not holding your hand and going, hey, this is what this is, this is what this is. He's asking you to truly pay attention to every single thing happening on the screen. And the more that you pay attention, the more you're going to get rewarded to this film. This is definitely a movie that so much is happening that it's going to ask for repeat viewings. And this is something that I walked out of the theater and I said, I could literally go buy a ticket for another showing tonight, jump into the movie, and I would be completely fine going to see this again on literally just only minutes after seeing it the first time, because I wanted to dive back into this world. I wanted to dive back in with these characters, listening to the amazing score that Ludwig put in here, which the score, Ludwig, best original score right now. I mean, hands down, he should win. Like, P.S., give him the score Oscar right now. His score is absolutely fantastic. I heard from some people before going into this film that it was very much a little bit too close to Hans Zimmer, but I completely disagree. This score had its own identity, and I love what Ludwig was able to add inside this film. Every single moment, every single action set piece, every single second of this film, again, that score was so integral and amped up everything to 5, and I loved it. Which, talking about those scenes that are amped up, is the action set pieces. They are brilliant. You know, when it comes down to the Dark Knight trilogy, I've always criticized Nolan for thinking that the action set pieces in there are a little bit too wonky, a little bit too shaky cam, but I think he's finally mastered action set pieces, especially when it comes down to this film. Every single gunfire, every single punch, you feel it all, and that a lot goes to the sound design. Everyone on board for that, amazing job. But as well as the cinematography, and in general, the fight choreograph is excellent. John David Washington is an excellent action star in here, and just named the protagonist, I love that concept. Again, there's not too much emotionality when it comes to every single one of the characters. Elizabeth Debicki, hands down, is pretty much the heart and soul of this film, and really the only person that has a lot of emotions and understandings behind her character, and that's fine. I didn't expect these other characters to have a big character arc or a giant gripping story, and that will be an issue for many people, but for me, nonetheless, it didn't bother me in the slightest. And I thought Debicki's character was absolutely the only thing that really mattered for me, and I understood him as latched onto her character and what her motivations were. But for me, John David Washington pretty much was doing James Bond in here, and I loved it in his own version. This is Nolan's own James Bond. I would go as far as to say this is the best James Bond film if Nolan had made one. Again, it's a globe-trotting espionage film, has high stakes, and it's exhilarating action set pieces. Every single one goes above and beyond the next one, and each and every one just kept me on the edge of my seat. There's a car chase where cars are going backwards and forwards. There's a fight scene in a hallway between backwards and forwards, and there's a giant action war set piece that has the same stuff going on. And just mentioning that, you see a little bit of a glimpse of that in the trailer. It does nothing than what you will see on the big screen. It is absolutely phenomenal what Nolan was able to do, especially using a lot of practical effects. It is absolutely magnificent. Performances nonetheless, every single person does such a good job chewing at the scenery. Elizabeth Debicki, great. Robert Pattinson is just having a blast in this role. John David Washington, excellent as the protagonist. Aaron Taylor Johnson, could have used a little bit more from him, but that's just what he was given with the script. And Kenneth Branagh as the main villain in here, again, having a total blast of a time, again, chewing up the scenery. This script is, a lot of it is pretty much giving you what's going on, trying to explain it, but also at the same time very smart in the way. I've heard many people say that this film is a little bit too complex, but I didn't feel that at all. I feel like there are elements that I kind of pieced together, and seeing it a second time is definitely going to be fun, knowing where those elements head out to. But nonetheless, I love how they threw a little bit of details at a time at you, while at the same time exciting new things and introducing new exciting elements to this whole inversion and Tenet type time element that Nolan is playing around with in this film. All those things surrounding this film completely made it connected to make such a blast of a time in the theater. This is such an enthralling, anxiety-inducing, and complex ride that I cannot wait to see again. It is my favorite Nolan film to date, and I really never thought I would say that because I've loved Inception ever since I saw it in the theaters. But when you see a film and you feel so passionate about it right walking out of it, you have to think about it, and the more that you think about it, and the more that you think about it, you start to love it even more. That's what I'm doing with Tenet. A globetrotting blockbuster that is not just intelligent, but complex, and most of all, epic in so many different ways. And each one adds above the next and completely redefines each other each and every single time, where you truly feel every bullet and punch going on. And hands down, Ludwig's original score in here should be nominated for Best Original Score and should win, because the way that he's able to weave in all these action set pieces and again elevate each one to that next level is hands down amazing. Nolan is at his best here. This is what Nolan does best. He's elevating every single performance. He's elevating the story and again the dynamic elements of this whole inversion. It's so complex, but at the same time understanding in the way that he's throwing out the exposition to you, and it never feels boring. It always feels like something is going on and something intriguing is going on. The way that all ties together is just great. I loved Tenet, and I might have a small thing where I couldn't understand what everyone was saying, and that's again what rewatchability is going to do. And I wish Nolan's done that a lot with his other films. That's always been my nitpick with one of his movies, is sometimes you can't understand what everyone's saying. But nonetheless, I absolutely adored this film. This is a truly big experience, and if you don't feel comfortable going to the theater, I totally understand. But if you are one of the people who's a little bit skeptical and wondering if this is the film that should drive you back into the theaters to just give it a shot, I definitely recommend this film nonetheless, because it really, I could not imagine seeing this at home. I was blown away with Tenet. So with all that said, I'm going to give Tenet an A+. Just make sure to look out for my Nolan ranking this Friday. I'm going to be seeing Tenet one more time before I do that ranking. So will this truly be my favorite Nolan film? Right now it is. And honestly, I think it's going to stick with that. It's kind of this and Inception with each other, but truly, goddamn, this film was just amazing. And I'm really curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. So make sure to comment down below and let me know your guys' thoughts on Tenet. Do you guys love it? Did you hate it? I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts. And of course, until next time, stay classy.